got news for you. Yes, I do. I'm like your angel of love, girl. I've come to see you through. So when you cry, let me wipe your tears. When you're scared, I wanna be there to calm your fears. When you're in need, baby, ring my phone. I'll run right over and we'll make love all night long.
Yo, what's good? What's good?
What's up, sir? Put you over there in your right spot there.
Oh, okay. I take that. I received that. I received that. Y'all looking good. Robert, you hat jacked me again tonight, huh? You got the, you got the fly joint on again. Brian, one time I think was in here both with the red bottoms, so we look like the Bopsy twins.
Yeah, it was interesting. There
Hey,
he
man.
goes. What, are you gonna change hats now,
I
Robert?
guess.
Or you just fall out, man.
The pressure, Brian. You see how easily they feel pressure.
They crumble.
Hey, man, good to see you, man. We've only that I recall. We've only we thought you punked out, Robert, and went and put on a different hat. I only recall actually having the pleasure of meeting you one time, but Robert actually introduced us. You know, we got a chance to chop it up, man. So I'm glad that you were able, man, to fit us into your schedule, man, and come kick it with us, man, and get a chance to tell us a little bit about what's going on with you, and dive into some of these conversations we have. I will forgive you for the fraternity decision that you have made with your life. You gotta.
You almost got it, Sean. You almost my finger was right there, boy.
Right on the mute button.
No, mute. No, this is how we do him. We just do that. That's all we do.
Hey, man, my older brother is also a Kappa man like myself. He told me, if you smart, you pledge alpha. If you smart with good features, you pledge Kappa.
Anyway, let me bring this dude in. I don't know, he just fell out. Let me bring this brother in, man. Normally Brian, we don't bring in right away, but because we're a little short-handed tonight, I didn't want to pop on here with just three guys. So, Sean, you mind if I go ahead and
I do not. I am not in charge. They make that very clear to me, Brian. So
here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the cave, Mr. Brian Foster. Yes, this brother travels the world, and well, every now and then he has to partake so he can leave the world, apparently. But then you end up taking selfies with garbage cans. I'm not sure what that's about. This is a man, a businessman. This brother went from this to that. I mean, that's amazing. You know, I'm seeing a theme, though. Every picture he has a drink in his hand. Is that the key to success? Is that and chicken wings? But hey, as long as he doesn't, well, yeah, you end up laid out on the couch, but it could be worse. No, there's worse. Hey, it is what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, just welcome to the cave, my alpha brother, Mr. Brian Foster. There you go, that's better. Yeah, gotta leave on a good note.
Oh, that damn Facebook. I swear I gotta lock my
account. Man, people forget how much stuff is on there, how long. I had to go way back 2013, 2011.
Oh my
you
God,
went back for a minute, Rod.
Man, the Gap sweatshirt, I ain't seen that in about 15 years. Good Lord. I love that. I appreciate
hey man,
that.
He regularly weaponizes pictures of me. I just want you to know. He don't do it to nobody but me. I thought about it. Like, nobody else gets really mocked with their pictures but me.
Brian, Sean takes excellent pictures.
Yeah.
Excellent pictures. Because that was a little while ago.
Now, that's a favorite.
That's how I looked at the beginning of the show. At the end of the show,
sexual chocolate.
Hey, that last picture is how they say I look in skinny jeans.
Man.
And yes, I agree. Drinks are always of the must.
Yeah, man. You know what? I'm hopefully my man K Bizzle is watching, but I'm doing a hiatus, and they say I'm very mean as a host when I'm not drinking. So we will.
Oh, you're not drinking? Oh yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not.
Oh man,
it's gonna be a rough night.
This is gonna be tough, Brian. I just want you to know it's gonna be tough.
I'm using the Lenten season to hit my reset button and recalibrate some things, and get away from the sugar and the bread and the fried foods and the alcohol and the
Let me get
coffee
my
after afternoon and
my notepad together.
What are you gonna do? Yeah, you done cut out everything.
right. I'm gonna be on the phone with the suicide hotline
That's
every
what it said.
6
Become a
hours.
breatharian.
Man.
This is gonna be a tough night. I'm gonna tell. It's gonna be a tough.
No.
I need to switch it up. I don't need to be drinking this prosecco stuff. I might need some.
Man, I was like you and Glenn last week, man. I was over here sipping wine. I'm a bourbon dude, Brian. I'm, typically, man, it's bourbon and ginger beer, or I make myself, or my man Boogie, I make myself a good old fashioned, So this is only day 2 though. So,
It's all right. I did dry January. I kind of pushed it out to the middle of February. I think this is maybe my second drink of 2023. So I feel you. You got to do that.
What are you drinking, Brian?
I'm a maker's man myself.
Okay.
Yeah. Makers was once one of my go-tos. Now I know why you did what you did in the green room, because Makers got that
got a little bite in it. Got a little bite
to it, Yeah. I think that's why I got away from it. Got that bite.
Yeah.
I got like
Double Oak Woodford, man. That's my favorite.
Yeah, Woodford Bullet, Basil Hayden. Basil Hayden Toast is
Bullet will do it for you.
I tell you though, man, that Crown XO. It's not a bourbon, it's a whiskey.
Yeah.
But that Crown XO is so smooth, man. Oh my goodness.
Crown is not my favorite, but I know
mine either, typically.
Yeah.
But I got 2 bottles of Angel's Envy sitting on the bar now.
Solid.
Yeah, and
I got Angel's Envy over here too, but I've been drinking wine all night at this other event, so I'm gonna just do this prosecco.
Man, every time I start eyeing that Angel's Envy, I go, you know what? No, let me wait. I'm gonna go buy some $20 Rebel or some $20 Jack or something and hold on to it.
Save that.
Yeah.
My man, that fast. He looked like he going to see Will Downing tonight with his prosecco and his hat on and shit.
Man, I'm trying to be like, I'm trying to be
Hey man,
winery? What the hell's going on?
Hey man,
I just rushed in here, Brian. I didn't get to do the green room with y'all. I just rushed in here, took off all my stuff, and it said, "Hey, you know what? Let me come on in here."
Yeah. Well, you look good to have rushed in and took off all your stuff. I'm glad you didn't take off all your stuff.
Right, we don't need another Nipplegate.
Yeah,
I didn't take all my stuff off. We got women and children on this show tonight.
I don't know about the children, but hopefully,
we have had childish women though.
Ooh, okay, this is what we doing.
it gets thick. Everybody ain't happy with us. Yeah, be clear.
No.
Yeah,
but Brian, Sean comes up with the questions. As I told you, we just go along with it. We don't know what the hell we're gonna be talking about until tonight. That's
not always true. As a matter of fact, something that Robert sent me earlier today, I plan on discussing. So don't let them trick you into thinking I'm some kind of content dictator or something.
So it seems like you just got no plan. You just come in here to start talking and it rolls from there.
That's all.
That's it.
I got it like that. Hey man,
I got it.
Oh Lord, come on with the notepads. Y'all looking your age now. Come on. At least hold up a tablet.
I'd be looking my age if you saw how big the letters were. Hey,
under a microphone.
Hey man, I don't know how y'all feel about this. And I didn't know if I wanted to come out the gate with it. But I say, what the hell? I got the host duties, right? B. So
make it happen.
I really want to talk, because there's so much to unpack. I think it's more than the surface suggests, but I really want to talk about this whole Rihanna cover.
I got you for it, man.
I mean, we can back it up with the Jonathan Majors cover too, which I think there's a bit more context to that, because he's actually made some statements about it. But
let me know and I'll pull it up for you when you want
it. The Rihanna one?
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah, let's do the Rihanna one first. Can you do the Rihanna one without the graphics on it?
Yep,
yeah.
I got both of them.
Okay.
And I apologize, I got put it in the middle of the screen like that, but
that's all right. Yeah. All right. So I know all the ladies, because the ladies love Riri. So the ladies have seen this. They still on the high from the Super Bowl. Brian, last week these Negroes was up in here talking about it was a baby shower when a Super Bowl broke out. You know, so I know the ladies, man, are all over this. And I'm a Rihanna fan, be clear. I'm not a fan enough that, you know, I actively buy her music, but her as a brand and as an entertainer and that, I dig her. She fine. She fine, you know. I dig her. But
Pregnant now, though.
Roger. But now, Roger, show the picture with the graphics, please. Yeah. All right. So the only thing on that picture that I'm not necessarily with is the placement of their united hands being listed as a cock shame. I'm quicker to believe that was just a casual hand placement because they were holding hands, but everything else about that picture, man, I agree with. The question becomes, is the imagery intentional from the publication standpoint, right? This is Vogue, right? And so a lot of men took issue with it because, and I was raised this way, no woman leads me anywhere, especially publicly. Like, we can hold hands and walk side by side all day long, but like if we're in the club and my lady goes to move ahead of me and she has my hand, she's gonna drop my hand because you're not pulling me through the club like a cuck boy or something. That's not gonna happen. Now I might rest my hand on your shoulder so everybody know you ain't by yourself or something like that, but you're just not leading me. To me, it's in the same rule book as walking on the outside and walking below up on the way up the stairs and walking in front of on the way down the stairs. But more importantly, man, I want to know how seriously you guys think the whole emasculation, feminization of particularly the black man is in situations like this. Is this just a casual, unintentional image, you know, or do you think there's something to it? And B, since I got a lot of B's in my life, I tend to just call them B. You know, my brother's Byron, my nephew is Byron. I tend to just call him B. So if that doesn't work for you, you let me know. But but I'd love to hear from you, man. You being our elite guest this evening. You know, what do you think about it, man?
So this could go a lot of ways, right? First, let me say that this was not American Vogue. This was a European Vogue, right? So I think even leading with that sets a connotation. If it was American Vogue, I might look at it a little bit differently, but we don't have, or excuse me, Europeans don't have the same baggage from slavery
Issues, right?
Sure. So I'll start there.
Mm-hmm.
I get, and I also want to say that I understand why we, as a race, and we as Black men are so, I'll even say hypersensitive to this issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way we are portrayed continuously in the media continues to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
In this particular instance, I don't see an issue.
Mm-hmm.
It was Rihanna's cover. It's her story, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that she probably even bogarted him and the baby in the shoot.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh, I'd love to have my son and my baby's daddy because they're not married, but my boyfriend in the shoot, right? So for her to be leading, I get how the imagery can be misconstrued, but I think since it's her cover, her being on the front and center is probably the correct thing. And I don't think there was a room full of Vogue editors sitting around like, how can we emasculate the Black man today? I don't think that's what they're now.
Mm-hmm. We don't know that, but
we don't know that. We don't know that for sure. And I'm not, again, if this was American, I would say some of this carryover from all these years of abuse and slavery and whatnot. It's not only ingrained in us; it's ingrained in them. So they might not have been purposefully doing it, but it might have been a subconscious thing. Again, because I forget, was it London Vogue? I forget which one it was.
Yeah.
Because it was European, I'm less inclined to think that's so ingrained in them.
So I want to give you two things. I want to stay with you for a moment. I totally understand that it's not an American publication. That doesn't concern me as much as the roar of support that sisters on this side
Mm-hmm.
had for it, and then the unfailing resistance they had to the men on this side
Mm-hmm.
perceiving it a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So let's not even concern ourselves with what their intention is. It
Okay.
made its way here,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when it got here, all the sisters seemed to not be able to understand why the brothers would look at it and be like, you know what I'm saying? Like we don't. It could have originated anywhere.
Yeah.
But brothers see it and go, ooh, really? This is the second thing I want to ask you to. I want you to bookmark that.
Got it.
Give me something on it. The second thing is this: there are a host of elite women, elite level women, unmarried, like her. Serena was on by herself. I could go on. They didn't have the father, and in some cases, the father was an actual husband, right? It was just the woman and the baby, right? So to me, that begs another question: like, why was it so important to have this guy trailing behind her? You know, like the cuckoo, husband or baby daddy, or well, I don't use that phrase, but child's father,
boyfriend, significant other.
Yeah, as opposed to the way the other ladies were handled.
Great questions. First
I
question.
know a lot, Chantel, that didn't like it, but go ahead.
Yeah. No. First question. I think that let's put that in reverse, right? Had it been ASAP Rocky leading Rihanna in that cover, right? Sisters would have lost it. They would have been
even if it was his cover. You think it? Because we're clear, it's her cover, right?
I don't care what cover it was.
Right.
Sisters would have lost it. But particularly if that article had been as it was featuring Rihanna, they would have been like, "Oh my God, what's this? She's the more important one. She's the more famous one. She's the rich one.
Got the more money.
She got more money. Blah 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 blah." It would have been a thing. So I feel you there, right? I also think though that we are so disconnected sometimes as black and brown women and men, and we are at each other's throats so much about such petty stuff. So anytime any man or any woman for that matter, because I'm in a couple of groups on Facebook, I can't believe some of the conversations that happen. Are as soon as somebody states an opinion, we're at each other's throats because that's what we've been conditioned to do. So I think this is just a visceral reaction to how we normally are just normalized, rather, I should say, to come at each other over anything. On the other end of your question, give it to me again one more time. Hold on, I'm making sure.
You asking Sean to remember a question?
That's worse than asking Robert.
You knew,
right? Wrong thing to do.
My bad. I'm a newbie.
I can tell if I was paying attention to enough, but
I should have written it down. Somebody watching might know what the.
So you said, see, damn it, I already been drinking.
Well, while he's doing that, Sean, can I jump in?
I want you and Robert to get in.
All right. Man, so first, I agree with probably more than 98% of you, Frat. You kind of opened my eyes to a couple of things with what you said. However, Vogue has a history of extremely racist behavior as a magazine since its inception. So that's the first issue, that they have consistently had issues with who's on the cover, who's not on the cover, and of course, definitely who's in the background, whether it be the photographers, the editors, and things like that. So they have a history of that. However, it's almost one of those things where two or three things can be true at the same time, where we do just have a visceral reaction because in America, we're seeing it, we're perceiving it differently than maybe somebody over there is perceiving it. And it is a gut reaction because we're dealing with so many different situations and trigger moments and sensitivities at the same time that they just pop up like popcorn. You know, it's images, it's police, it's masculinity, whatever it is. Every single day you walk out, you're going to be triggered by something different or two or three things at the same time. So I could understand some of the women's point of view that love Rihanna, that are only looking at it as a female magazine and a cover. But I also understand the men. When I first saw it, my very first thought, because I saw it without any of the commentary, it was just, oh, okay, wow, they're together, they got the family. And it was literally this process. It was Rihanna's on the cover, a family, cool. They got the baby. Why does he look like he's sulking? He looked like he's being led like a chimpanzee to a circus. That was just the way he was walking, his body position. And then I started to hear everything else. But I didn't like it just from the general reaction. I thought he was being emasculated per se, but it definitely did not look like a strong family structure to me. And images are everything. And I do believe that anything that magazines do is deliberate. I don't think there's anything unintentional until they get caught. And then we didn't know any better. And if you didn't know any better, then it was intentional because you kept a black person out of the room to tell you don't do that. When LeBron was doing the whole King Kong thing. So that's
H&M with the T-shirt, coolest monkey in the jungle.
Right. Exactly. So when I saw it, my thought process wasn't, oh my God, I hate Vogue, blah, blah, blah. It's Vogue. It's not going to, I'm going to still eat my oatmeal in the morning. It's not going to ruin my day. Right. But yeah, I do think that I definitely understand a lot of the men that constantly feel like they have to hold on to being a man, that when you're a black man, you feel like that, you attack anything that threatens that manhood in any way. I mean, you look at the brothers, people ask, why do deacons always dress up for church? And they go, well, they did. It's the only place that they had authority. Back when we were first starting to go to church, that was the only place a black man had any authority, was actually in the church. Because outside that church, he was just a boy. Mm-hmm. And so now you look at all these situations, whether it be the emasculation, whether it be being led, whether it be job restraints, whether it be Eric Bieniemy not being a coach, all these things you can look at to black men feeling threatened. And it's not to say that anybody else can't be threatened, which to Brian's point, sometimes you end up in a situation, well, what about women? We can have two different conversations at the same time. Or maybe we can't. If your brain power doesn't take you there, then you need to have a conversation with the children at their table.
Right. Because we know whataboutism is one of the biggest crutches that we have. We can't hash out a topic without somebody going, but they do this, or what about that? Right. Like, let's talk about that after we ring this out. But that
exactly.
is not
I'm gonna stop there because I know Robert has to go. We're about 23 minutes in. Sean's gonna have a story probably about 28 minutes, and that's gonna drag another 5-6 minutes. So I'm gonna kick it back to Sean. He can.
What is with the disrespect, brother?
It's dude, you don't know.
It's normal. It's so normal. You're not leaving us, are you, Raj?
No. Okay. I'm gonna stay on here.
All right, Robert. Robert, come on. What you've heard enough opinions to have created one of your own in the ones you've heard.
Thank you.
You know what?
This is a constant theme I have seen when I watch the show.
Brian, I gotta ask Robert stuff first. I gotta ask him stuff first because he'll be like, "Well, Brian said it best."
Well, you know what? I love you, brother.
I love you too, man. That don't mean I ain't gonna look. These Negroes have dragged me so bad the last month. Look, they should know I love them by the fact that I'm still here.
All you alpha brothers, that not you. But I think that I didn't have a problem with it because when I looked at it, and I'm in a Black men's therapy group, and they put that in there and asked us what we thought initially when we saw it. And I said, I see a Black family. It doesn't matter that Rihanna's, leading him or walking with him or any of those kind of things, because it's them. They're together. They know who runs things or who makes the money or something. I don't know his background, but I looked at it and I said, hey, it's a great family. I see the baby, all that kind of stuff is a Black family. I didn't necessarily have a problem with it until we started dissecting it. And Sean knows this, and Roger does too. I'm passionate about relationships and marriages, and mine didn't work, but making marriages. Brian, you and I talked about this probably before too, but I love that stuff. So I didn't really have there was no emasculation there for me, Sean, in watching it.
So in that same vein, Robert, let me jump in and ask you this. Then you're telling me that you would have had no issue taking that picture in that exact same way.
I would not have. My ex-wife, I'm not going to say her name, but I mean, she's making just as much money as me.
Well, I'm not even discussing money though. So money is something that you inserted into that dynamic out of your own sight. I'm just
here's
saying,
why I say money, because I think that there is a, money, power, collaboration, all that sort of stuff is what people look for. And I would have, if I needed to jump out, because I'm not in that picture. He is not the person that people are coming to Vogue for.
So why is he even in the picture?
Because she needs to create family.
But as I said before, I can show you. I got 5 pictures, similar covers in my phone now with just the mother and the child.
Well, actually, you know what, Sean? Vogue has, somebody posted about 6 pictures of the women and their husbands, but in every last one of those pictures, they're all white, but they're all side by side.
Absolutely.
It's the first Black family where the husband has been behind the wife. That's peculiar, but again, that's the history of Vogue.
I'm looking at Beyonce. Hold on, Robert. I'm looking at Beyonce in blue.
Yeah.
Right. I'm looking at what's this child name? I can't stand her. Cardi B.
Oh,
and,
I love
and,
Cardi
and
B.
her child, and her child's father is notable.
Yeah.
Celebrated. Right. Looking at Serena and her child. So.
Hey, Sean, to that point, though, really quick. So it's interesting to me that all of those women are individually in the photo with their child, right? Which might perpetuate this stereotype of the single Black mother. Maybe Rihanna, I don't know, I wasn't there. Maybe Rihanna was like, I'm not doing that, right? My child has a father. He's here. I love him. We're together.
Let's
do this shoot together as a family. And that was the shot they caught because he happened to be kissing the baby while they were walking, and that's why they chose to use it. I am not the one to sit here and tell you that white people don't have ulterior motives to do what they do. Last one to say that. In this particular instance, I am curious, though, that all those covers had mothers with their children and the fathers were not present. And this one did have a father present, and we're killing it.
Yeah.
That's
I'm sure they had 500 pictures too, but that's the one they chose.
That's kind of my and June mentions basically the positioning of them, and June, what we're saying is when Vogue does do the Beckhams, she's not leading him. He's not trailing behind her like an employee. That's the way I see. And again, I'll open this up by saying I have strong issues with that dynamic. Like, you're not leading me. I'm very old school. Robert, I don't know why you're laughing at me.
No. I got something. I'm waiting for you to finish.
But I'm very old school when it comes to that. I'm the door opener. I'm the, all of that stuff. So when I see that, it troubles me. Now, what troubled me more, and this is a bit of a shift, is I saw a lady, and if you saw my post about don't brag about what you are, like it makes your opinion valid. It was because of a discussion I saw about this, and the woman was spitting venom at the men who were uncomfortable with the cover. And then she started going on and on about she's done content creation for X amount of years and there's nothing wrong with this image. And I'm thinking, well, if you've done content creation, then you know how subliminal content creation is. And the most you would say is maybe this wasn't intentional in your eyes, but you can't tell me that the imagery doesn't have an impact, especially in a culture that already has an issue with absent fathers or weak fathers or the emasculation of men of color. So if you're that heavy into content creation, you at least understand why this deserves a conversation. But then as I started to go through her page, I saw some pictures that were basically non-binary. And so I'm like, okay, I'm arguing with somebody who really doesn't understand why people advocate for men, because she advocates for ambiguity, which is fine, but we're speaking two totally different languages. But I left that thinking, why is it always so hard for our sister to hear us? Why is that such a challenge when we speak up? You don't want a guy that's quiet. You want a guy that can communicate and speak his mind and articulate his thoughts and speak the king's English to the queen's taste. But does it have to be something that you agree with all the time? Like the pushback that men get, I feel, when we speak up about controversial issues that have to do with the man-woman dynamic. We get so much venom. And the level of venom that we can't do. We can't spit that kind of venom because then we're misogynistic and
Who
we're
can?
primitive. And
Who can?
well, you
Right.
got a wife and you don't care. If anybody saw your post, they would know you don't.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
Ryan, I have wisdom. 24 years of wisdom. Trust me.
And Brian's the
I'm
same
there
way.
with you. When I,
Brian
when I
has to-
hey, I ain't got a cape for none of you. I mean, I ain't got a cape to these women. I'm
say what
already
you gotta
stressed.
say,
You gonna
right,
hear
Brian?
you gonna hear the facts.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, so I get
so
that.
I ask you that, Robert.
Yeah.
Why you have the floor? I ask you that. Why can't they hear us? And of course, the whataboutism is going to be y'all can't hear us either. But I'm asking you this question: why can't they hear us? I once heard a woman say
You lying.
that a man sharing his feelings to her, it was a man whining.
Well, I think that Brian and Roger can probably speak to this because they're both married. But I think that they can't hear us because they don't want to hear us. People get stuck in where they are, and because they get stuck, they want to. It's the, I might get kicked off the show. It's the, all the women grouping together.
If them nipples didn't get you kicked off, you
Right.
said.
It's the amen corner that women like to hear this stuff. Because remember, I have no problems with Rihanna. I have no problems with.
I don't either.
With if the woman makes more money than me, thank God she makes more money than me.
Good point, Dawn.
That piece of it is what I have. But I think that for me, there was no emasculation in that process that I saw.
Somebody mentioned the Beckhams, Robert. I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm just
no worries.
bringing your attention to it.
Yeah.
These are 4 images of the Beckhams.
Yeah.
They're all images that make them equally like equal footing, if you want to say that. All of the images, sexy as hell. By the way, they're great looking couple.
But here's the thing: as black men or as in black society, are we considered equal, or are we really trying to, elevate? Because we can't compare ourselves to, and I'm not talking about the Beckhams. I'm just talking about in society. We're not them. We're not with Becky and all the other, people like that.
But that doesn't matter. We're talking about the way that man and that woman are portrayed as a couple.
Hey,
whether they're notable or not.
Hey, Sean, let's. I mean, it's kind of the same thing, man. But let's go over to your Jonathan
Majors.
Mason.
Yeah.
Now that I thought was interesting because Brian, as you can see, I can be a little tight.
Yeah, he can.
And I'm not drinking, so I'm probably tighter than usual. But ironically, the Jonathan Majors cover caught my eye, but I saw the artistry in it before I saw the feminization of it. And maybe because in my mind, he's a very masculine dude. You know what I'm saying? And so it wasn't like it was an androgynous issue. I felt like it was more him in the spirit of Valentine's Day and the roses and all that. And I didn't even know what it really was at the time. And then at the time, after that, I learned that the person that styled him, whose name is Gibson, they styled him after an anime character named Don Quixote.
Actually, I got it up.
Yeah, One Piece is the name of the right.
So there's the original one. My first reaction, a little bit was like, great picture, the artistry, as you say, it really was. The second one was, are those pants connected to the damn boots? Is this
right? I'm looking at that too, Roger. I'm like, damn.
And I'm like,
the
it was
hell?
like it wasn't Superfly, it was more like Super Dragonfly or something, a Super Butterfly.
Dragonfly Jones.
Yeah, right. And then I saw what you were talking about. I'm sorry, I got to cover this up. It goes full screen, but that's the character he was modeled after there.
Yeah. And so he actually spoke about it though. They asked him about it, and he said, "Hey man," he said it was just artistry and a bunch of beautifully talented black artists in the room.
I'm sorry,
you know, and
TJ.
yeah, I saw that. I decided to not go there with it.
TJ can be, yeah.
I thought he looked like a
I mean,
God, I love TJ.
Keep it 100, TJ. Dang.
Yeah,
we appreciate you, TJ.
You've been rocking with us the whole time, B. She don't hold back at all.
I love it.
We got the guy here.
Yeah, I saw Glenn. Yeah.
Too busy to come on, but not too busy to comment, huh?
Right. Because one of the pictures he had on boxing trunks with the flowers, so there was some Creed promotion in there. But he spoke on the artistry of it, and he was like, "Hey, man, I like to create a ruckus, So he spoke to it and basically said, it ain't nothing that any of y'all are saying, but go on and fight about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's still getting attention and getting conversation. So I think that if you're hypersensitive about what you feel as the feminization of black men is going to trigger you a certain way. I'm not as triggered by that as I am what I think is an intentional positioning of the black man as a non-leader behind the black woman. So that gets my attention. And I'm not triggered by it, but I'm more hypersensitive to the fact that it then becomes dictated by money. So the first thing everybody says is, well, Riri got the money.
So right? I can tell you exactly why you're not triggered.
Because I ain't got the money.
You're not triggered because you grew up to Prince. Any black man who grew up to Prince ain't triggered by that.
I was the biggest heterosexual Prince fan in college. You can tell me no different.
Still am.
Right. He was on my wall.
At 5'1", people thought
when he
Prince
died,
would still kick your butt.
What you him, Rick James, Boy George. I mean, we can start the 80s was
right.
Hey, Robert sent me something, man, earlier today, and
damn, blame me.
Let's see, B. You see how they do me? Like they act like I'm a content bully, and then when I introduce their topics, they go blame me.
See, he's doing this because if this shit don't work, he's sitting here saying,
No, I'm giving you credit. B, you see that? Now I'm giving him credit for his contribution.
Oh, like I don't give damn contributions.
You can't win, Noop.
I don't want everybody to think it's the Sean show. Show up and talk about what Sean want to talk about. And then when I try to acknowledge, I'm still wrong.
Go ahead,
go ahead, Sean. Just give me 1 sec. I need to put that gold smoke behind you again. Go ahead. Keep going.
Okay. I'm with you, brother. Go on and do your thing.
Roger, you set me up so well sometimes,
I do some stuff, Glenn. Yes, I send him some stuff. So yeah.
So ladies, I'm stopped listening to you now, Robert. So ladies, I know you can't chime in live. Glenn, this is for you. But some anonymous person, Brian, sent me something earlier today, and we had a discussion and basically, like, we were talking about the voice of men when pitted against women. I told Robert, I said, well, women probably gonna get mad at us for talking about what they think, and one of them ain't present. You know what I'm saying? Because we get that a lot. When we first started this show, somebody told us, how dare us discuss women without women being present.
Women representation.
Oh, yeah. And the way I watch us get dragged all day on social media, I was like, really? Whatever, Glenn. But I thought it was really, really poignant. It spoke of the things that, and this is a woman speaking, so I'm not speaking for women, and women, I would love for you to chime in. It spoke to the thing that women found attractive in men.
And she's a therapist too. So
yeah,
she's a woman
which, as you know from my post, only impresses me a certain degree. There's a therapist that if ever comes back on this show, I'm not.
Yeah, we know that already. You're good, right?
Your title don't really move me if you talking crazy. So anyway,
The thoughts and opinions, Sean, are not related to the parts of Brian and Amazon podcast.
you have no idea why that's so
You've
funny.
been watching our
You have
show.
no
I'm
idea.
watching the show.
The thoughts and opinions. Male is still the spirit of male is present.
Yeah.
So it says that among the things that women love, of course, the very first thing was what Brian brought to the show. Now that he got some facial hair, because he wasn't moving me with a bald face, but good looks. Women first like good looks. However, they say women seek good looks for flings more than they seek good looks for life mates, which I could see that. And ladies, as you listening, I love to hear what you think. But I think that speaks to the fact that men are always labeled as these visual creatures. I think humans are visual. Men maybe to a greater degree, but women can't wait to show you somebody fine on the gram. Women like handsome men and nice bodies and muscles and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So but it suggested that when they are really moved by that, that's more likely a fling, which I hope don't mean a fling on the side. But they don't use that as a dictate for seeking a life mate. While I'll go on record and say I think a lot of men do. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of men is like, okay, she ain't got to be able to cook or form a perfect sentence, but if she bad, I'll put a ring on it. So that's just me pontificating. But so that was one thing. Another one was the sense of humor that women really, really value and are attracted to men with a sense of humor. Now, when I'm drinking, particularly, I've been known to make a lady cackle here or there. It's not happening tonight, but but I do know that.
Oh,
I do know that.
explains it then. Now I understand. See, usually it's girls there, but he's usually funny. Tonight he's dry.
Right.
Probably in a place by yourself tonight, ain't you, Sean?
Yeah.
See, Brian. See. Yeah. But I get that because I hear women say that all the time. You make me laugh. You in like a fat rat, like we used to say when we were younger. Then they said that men that are willing to help others, men that have a helping spirit, that's attractive to ladies. Ironically, they followed that up by saying men that are surrounded by fancy and shiny things. Now, but that could also mean that you're doing well.
That's exactly right, Sean.
Yeah, it more than the things themselves.
Cars.
You have the ability to buy these things. You have the ability to.
Yeah. Are you going to talk about the beard too? I'm just curious.
You took off the sexy glasses. You making goo eyes or somebody? Brian, because he constantly like this tonight. Have you noticed he constantly giving me?
I'm sorry. Robert may have a guest. Let me do this for them there. There you go.
There you go. Hey, I'm here. I'm here for you.
Jonathan Majors, Rob, what you think?
As long as you ain't got on that yellow nipplegate sweater.
Yeah, hey, I'm here for you. Go on with the list.
Was there a question coming?
It's too. No, well, when I get to the end of them, Negro.
I'm just asking. We got 15 minutes left.
It's gonna be a long 15.
I'm about to say 5 of them. Was you still talking?
It's gonna be 14 of them. I'm just saying.
That's why I'm saving the last one for you specifically, Roger. The next to the last one says that men with pets are attractive to women. I think maybe it's because it shows that they can care for something that is dependent on them. That I could see that. And then lastly, do you know, Roger? Do you know what the last one was?
What's the last one, Sean?
No, give us in 2 minutes.
You can lean in, B2. This is for you, but just not with the venom that it is for Roger. They're more attracted to men that wear red.
They ain't attracted nobody wearing red tonight, though, are they?
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on.
I wear red all the time, by the way.
Yeah, I almost got on some red now. And what I thought was funny about,
but I'm with you. Salmon even.
Salmon. What I thought was funny though is that they say pets, but like women are suspicious of men with cats. Like I got a cat, and women look at you when you got a cat, like, you know, like you're getting ready to do one of them shoots Jonathan Majors did.
And Sean, I think that's an amazing list, by the way. I think all of that speaks to a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
I think it speaks to one, being a leader, right? Two, let me reverse that. One, being a provider. Two, being a leader. Three, being able to embrace family. I think that's what the whole pets piece stands for. And I think that all of those things, like shiny objects, blah, 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 all that speaks to us being able to provide, protect, and be family oriented, which is what all women look for. And if you look good, that's a plus too,
that's
right?
A bonus.
Like that's the icing on the cake, but that ain't the cake.
You say that's a boner, Robert? Is that what you
bonus?
Oh.
bonus. See how
Jesus.
sexual he is, Brian. It's all sexual for him. Go on and finish up about the cat. Go on.
No, but I think for us, right, it's less that. We're not looking for protection. We're not looking for you to provide. Of course, we want you to be family oriented. I mean, that might be 1A, 2 hour. You got a big butt and a smile, right? Like that might be right underneath that. I mean, but that's the balance. That's the yin and yang.
Big butt and a smile?
He did, and he said,
"You got a big butt and a smile. You look good." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We have a certain age. You know what the hell I'm saying? But if you provide these things for us, that's what we're looking for. And they have maybe a completely flipped list. But I think that's how men and women like connect.
Let me
if
ask
we're all looking for the same thing, that might be a problem.
Let me ask y'all this,
Hey,
and
Glenn,
then I want to. What'd you say, Roger?
I responded to Glenn's post there. I said, but that would be a fling. They will take a homeless man if he looks like The Rock, but that'd be the fling.
Like my criminal man with the eyes and the tattoos, right?
I'm gonna open up some more.
Or the women that posed in the prison.
Right, I saw that. I want to ask y'all this question, and we got about 11 minutes. I want to get through that, and then I want to make sure we leave a few minutes for Brian to tell everybody a little bit more about him and where they can find him and where they can support him and that kind of thing. So we basically said that our list changes as we get older. Basically, you all mentioned some things that said okay, but what Brian specifically said, here's what we're looking for, right? But when we're looking for that thing, we're in this season of our lives, as opposed to, when we first came out the gate, it was like, yeah, what you're working with, right? Do you think that the list changes more for men as they age, or more for women as they age?
Ooh, I'm glad I guess get to ask. Are you asking?
I'm asking you first, just because you said that, Robert. I'm gonna ask you first.
I thought that guest get
Yeah,
to
no. He got the first question coming out the gate.
So for me, I think that as I age, things change.
We know that. See how you be trying to skirt, Brian? Who changes more, Robert Hazard? Men or women as they age?
Men change more as we age than before. So
I agree with you, by the way. But yeah.
No. I was just at an event and we talked about women going through what is it they go through?
Menopausal,
perimenopausal, and just full menopausal. And so so there's a conversation about that, as well as there's some technology that we need to, as people, for me, in terms of innovation, work towards providing technology around that. God forbid you're married to someone or in a relationship with someone who is going through perimenopausal or menopause, in general. So I'm not gonna get beat up by the people in the comment.
Already.
Too late.
Right.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
Natalie.
I heard rifle cocking.
Right,
Already.
Natalie over
Natalie, I
there.
am not going there with you tonight. But I think that to answer your question, I think that we all change, and men in particular change as we go through the stages of life.
B, who changes more, men or women?
I'm going to disagree with you two. I think it's women.
Good.
Ooh,
Tell
I
me
want to
about
hear
it.
this. Come on, talk to me.
I
'Cause you're a
think
guest. You
women,
don't-
when they're younger, they're less prone to, and I'm going to say that we all do it, so I don't want this to be a negative word, settle. Nobody you ever meet is perfect. Nobody you ever meet is going to check every box, right? And I don't think men, even in our 20s or our 30s, are looking for every box to be checked. We're looking for a vibe. We're looking for a connection. We're looking for this. We're looking for that. I think women at a younger age have all this checklist of boxes they want to see met. And only when they get older, they realize half that checklist is nonsense, is irrelevant, is inconsequential. It will not make you happy. And only through heartbreak and pain do they get that most of the shit they wanted on that checklist was bullshit. So I think as they get older, and relationships haven't worked in particular, they recalibrate what's important. And stability and friendship and laughter and all these other things that were a little bit lower on the list when they were in their 20s, get a little bit higher when they were in their 30s, get a lot higher when they're 40s, and by their 50s, hey. So I think women shift more than we do. I think we still are visual creatures at the end of the day.
Totally.
How much money you make probably isn't as important. It is for me, but for most men, it's not important, right? I think our list doesn't really shift. We're not as into looks as we get older, because as we age, we understand. Everybody else in our age demographic is changing physically as well. Although we will stay younger to try to keep that that thing up. But I think most of us, our list doesn't change. I think women's flip as they get older.
Roger, what do you think? Because I want to tag it with something before we get into.
I agree with
with
Brian. I think that men don't change as much, and this may be more of a knock towards men. It's simplicity. You want conversation, peace, and if you are an old fashioned man, you want a good meal, you want sex. That's pretty much it.
Fuck me, shut the fuck up. I ain't gonna.
That's pretty much. It doesn't really change at all. All the other stuff doesn't affect. Like I said, for women, it may be the protection and the providing. Yes, I am married to Little Detroit in there, but I don't need her protection. So it's just a matter. It's just consistent. For me, I just need peace, food, sex. That's it.
I don't.
What
I don't
order
know.
is that in, though? Can we get
What
the
you
order?
said?
What order is that in with the?
Oh, well, now it depends what month it is, nice, because oh man, I gotta watch it here because I say some stuff in the green room. I don't want on here forever, but if anybody ever wants some advice on how to have peace in your household long term, I got a 30-day challenge for you that was guaranteed to work. Guaranteed.
Now, Fred and Rob, I think that's a great question. I think that might be what changes as we get older, right?
Yeah.
When we were younger, it was all about the sex and blah, blah, blah. Right. I think as we get older, that turns on its head. And that peace part?
That peace.
Now I think
You
even
bring that sex, that peace will be there.
Even if, what sex is peace, is PIEC. But but I also think that even if we don't agree in terms
Drink
of
more water.
proportion, I feel like
I wish I could take the
I feel like women remove things from their list as they age, because like Brian said, they start to realize that some of that was bullshit to begin with, and they told you look for A, B, or C, and you realize that it has no real substance, but you gotta kiss some frogs and get dragged a bit before you realize that shit ain't nothing. Men, I think we add shit as we get older, because we still want to maybe be visually stimulated. We don't expect you to have a 25-year-old body at 45 or 55, but that doesn't mean you can't look good to us. You can't be something that we look at and we're excited when we see. But then we add stuff. It don't take much for us early to keep our attention. But as we get older, what you think about men, what baggage you're carrying, what your relationship history looks like, what relationship do you have with your kid's father, if that's the dynamic. Those things I think come into play a bit more for men as we get older. Whereas women come out of the gate, man, giving this boatload of shit that we're supposed to do, even as young women. You know what I'm saying? They're giving us the white picket fence and providing and yada, yada, yada. So they come out of the gate with a lot of expectations that they have to dial back on their own and realize,
wanting us to
okay,
do
yeah,
75,
yeah,
push-ups.
yeah. Big Mama told me this, but this ain't really that important, So, hey, man, we only got about 3 or 4 minutes. B, I hope you can get it in, man. But tell everybody, man, about yourself, what you do, where they can find you.
Yeah.
Real quick, because I don't want to monopolize this awesome show.
No, go ahead and monopolize.
Please do.
Listen, I appreciate you brothers for having me on. Me and Rob have been talking about this for a while, so I'm glad we finally carved out the time. Brian Foster, I am the host of the In the Zone podcast. You can find us on YouTube, the In the Zone podcast. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. You can find me, Brifos, on Facebook, and BFOS 1906 on Instagram. Sean, I want to tell you real quick, my dad is a newt, so
see, you come from good stock.
So
well, that went over well.
Yeah, that's a whole other show. But
we should have led with that.
Talk about a lot of the same things these brothers talk about. Relationships, mental health, sports, movies. We cover the gamut when it comes to Black culture. And again, I'm so excited to have been able to join this show tonight. Find us, join us, follow us. Hopefully we all can do this again. I have you on mine. I love cross promotion. I love Black men supporting Black men. I love Black people supporting Black people. So I'm super, super excited that I can come on tonight and have this conversation with you guys.
Hey man, I just realized too, Brian, we didn't meet until Robert introduced us at Simone's party.
Simone's birthday party.
But I just now remember that I took your picture at Marquell's CD release.
Sure did.
Yeah, I just realized that I took your picture there. Yeah.
Sure did. So for the group, I'm now retired. So I was a promoter for 20 years, Collective Quest Entertainment. And the In the Zone podcast is a rebirth of the In the Zone sports group that I held for over a decade. Many of you, I hope, that watched or have heard folks that play flag football, volleyball, basketball, all these different things. We were the first Black-owned intramural adult sports group on the south side of Chicago for over a decade. So always like to shout that out because I'm super proud of that. A lot of things have spun off on that, and they're doing their things now, and congrats to them. But we were the originators. I like to always own that.
Hey, Brian, make sure you give me information, man. Indy, we do a lot of promotion with any other projects or shows, whether they're affiliated with us or not. Just like you said, we love to promote other Black projects. So anything you need, anything that you want hyped up, you let me know. I'll run it on our streaming channel, our Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff, YouTube. And get you as much.
I appreciate it. Listen, you might get stolen as a producer.
Hey, Brian, I'm already anticipating the next time you come back. But I want you to know that already in the comments, there have been some remarks made about looking forward to you coming back. So,
I'll put them up there.
We appreciate, man.
And I appreciate your loyal followers and watchers as well. You all, there's
Shut
no
up, boy.
about you all. So keep following these gentlemen.
Yeah, they got to be loyal because I piss them off quite a bit. So
he does, but
they love the group despite me. Hey man, I want to speak out some of your. Say what?
It's because of you. Don't you think otherwise, my man?
Hey man, I'm gonna check out, man, your podcast tonight. I got some work to do when we get done, and I think I'm gonna work, man, and check you out. So I look forward to that. Hey, everybody that's watching, thank you, Dawn. everybody that's watching, we appreciate you all. If you've been with us for 3 years, if this is only your first time, we appreciate you coming through and rocking with us for an hour. Next Thursday, same bat time, same bat channel. But for now, it's been live from the cave.
Join us, Indie TV, where you will see the talk shows, movies, drama, action, and comedy. Be the first and see it first. Sign up now for free at Indie TV.